everyone, once been here at the Battle Report. So this is Southern Assault 2015. What might be my last tournament using Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition rules. It actually may not be, but there's a chance it is. So yeah, I've got a long history with this tournament, Southern Assault. I've been going to it for at least 4 years. I really like it. I like the format. This year they did something I thought was pretty cool. It was Swedish comp, and you had to be between 14 and 18. Which means that you had to have relatively soft lists. You couldn't bring just the standard normal stuff. So I like that. I brought my Bretonnians, and I came in at a 17. So for every single game, for every tenth of a point that you're softer than your opponent, you got 10 points. Something like that. So if I had a 17, you had a 16, then I'd get 100 points automatically right off the bat. The second thing they did that I liked was that the every game, I think 3 games were battle line deployment, and 1 was a blood and glory deployment, and 1 was a meet and engagement deployment. But the scenario was the same in every one, and basically you could get up to 5 extra battle points based on the normal scenarios. So every game you'd get an extra battle point if you break your opponent, and every game you'd get 1 if you get somebody into your opponent's deployment zone. I mean, things like that. So I liked it because I didn't have to keep track of it game after game after game. I kind of knew every game I'd want to do things like that. So first game, I roll up against Dark Elves. Starting on the right, he's got a unit of Fast Cav. And then on the hill, he's got a unit of Dark Shards with a level 2 Lore of Dark Magic with a scroll. He's got a Master BSB outfitted like that. He's got a unit of Sisters of Slaughter, 18 of them with the Razor Standard. Death Hag on the Cauldron with a Sword of Might. Then he's got another similar block, but this time he has Corsairs with the Bloodrack Shrine. But again, there's 18 of them, and these guys have the Banner of Swiftness. Then he's got his Dreadlord with a Cloak of Twilight. Things scares me. On a Black Dragon, and then some more Fast Cav. So I was looking at that, and it's just an interesting list. He's got all his points really in just mostly in just 3 units. He's got the 2 infantry units, and he's got his general. Of course, there's some points in the mage, and of course there's other little bits of points on the board, but for the most part, it's just those things. I decided to corner up, hopefully to attack only 1 of his infantry blocks at a time. So on the far right, I've got 9 Knights Errant. I've got 12 Knights of the Realm with the Impetuous Knight and with the Banner of Swiftness. So they're movement 9, and on the first time they charge, they get an extra d6. So these guys can really charge a long way. Level 4 Lore of Heavens. I have her out of a unit because I'm so worried about her miscasting, but I do have to worry about shooting and magic, so I might put her in a unit in a little bit. Got another unit of 12 Knights of the Realm. This one has my Lord. So this time I went with the Always Strikes First Sword, and of course I give him the Heroic Killing Blow, and he's got a 1-up rerollable armor save. So I was going mainly for defensiveness. I don't think rerolling to hit with this sword is as good as rerolling to wound with the Heartwood Lance, especially when combo with the 1-use hit on 2s. But with this build, he's much more survivable. I've got a BSB in there with 1-up rerollable. I've got the Grail Reliquary. I haven't brought this thing out in so long. That's what I like about comp systems. You can bring out things that otherwise never see the light of day. I love this thing, mainly because I built it. So I have it there in a pseudo conga line. Its job is just to hold something up, and I see no reason to put other models up front to allow my opponent more attacks. Got a unit of 17 bowmen, then a unit of 16 bowmen, a trebuchet behind them, 5 peg knights, and then a unit of 3 grail knights. They are banner musician in there. The banner broke off. The reason I brought them is because I had to have something with the Grail Vow in order to take the Grail Reliquary. To put it on my Lord was going to cost me almost the equivalent of a Grail Knight, so I figured, hey, I'll just get 1 for free and just take 2 more Grail Knights. They might serve some kind of small utility purpose. The downside is they kind of give up easy points. So Vanguard looks like that. My opponent Vanguard's on the right. We go to... and then we have Scouts. They have a unit of ambushing... I forgot the name of these guys, but Scouts, and who puts them on the hill. I like that very much. One reason I deployed the way I did is because I wanted to make sure he couldn't get these guys behind my lines. So that's where we put them. So Dark Elves go first and then move like that. So I'm looking at this, and I don't have wonderful solutions for some things in his army. My bowmen are good against his fast cav, but his fast cav are nowhere near my bowmen. Um, his infantry blocks, I'm okay if I can get a flank charge, maybe one in the front, one in the flank, but I can't really do that to both of them anytime soon. So my only hope is to whittle them down as much as possible and then get some combo charges off. So when he comes at me, it's, I just need him to come as slowly as possible. And here on the left, he did this. I actually kind of thought this was a mistake. I don't know what he was thinking. He put his fast cav in the flank of my peg knights so he could shoot at him, and I'm okay with that. What I don't understand is my Grail Knights have an easy charge against those guys, and they can't flee because they would flee off the board. So I kind of assume that he just in the heat of the moment wasn't thinking that you fled from the unit center to center, that he was thinking maybe he would just flee along the table edge. I don't know, but it's not really close. You can see my Grail Knights there. So I figured that he was going to get a chance to shoot at my Peg Knights. He wasn't going to do too much damage, and I was going to get free points by countercharging him. We go to the shooting phase. He kills one Knight of the Realm in the rightmost unit, two Knights of the Realm in the leftmost unit. For the most part, I expect to lose some things. He only does one wound to the Peg Knights, and we go to Bretonnia turn 1. So I'm pushing the Grail Reliquary up because ultimately I want it to hold up. I want it to be in a position to where it can hold up one of his infantry blocks. Everybody else, really, I kind of... I didn't hang back with everybody. With my general's unit, I hung back, but because I wasn't in a hurry to get charged by the Sisters of Slaughter. Here on the right, had a very nice little lucky streak going on. I charged his fast cav, he fled, and he rolled like a 3. So I easily caught him and then reformed. And this is the mistake that I can't believe I'm still making mistakes like these after all these years, but I reformed him in a way that his shades can march over and get out of my line of sight. And turning my guys 90 degrees like this serves no purpose whatsoever. I could have turned him 45 degrees and still had been able to see everything that I'd be able to see anyway, and would have kept his shades from being able to get around my flank. Just a silly, silly mistake. I need to stop making those. Let's see over here. Yeah, charge the Grail Knights into the flank of his fast cav. He just held because he didn't want to flee off the table. We go to the shooting phase, and my trebuchet decides just to blow itself up because who needs a trebuchet? And then on the left, oh my gosh, these are Grail Knights. These are supposed to be the most BA human fighters in the world. They've sipped from the chalice of the freaking Lady of the Lake. They're Grail Knights, and they can't even beat fast cav. So I got a charge in the flank. He had pretty good leadership because his general was on a dragon, giving him 18-inch bubble, and he easily stuck and just reformed. I think I did 1 wound. Maybe I did 0. I don't know if he started with 5 or 6. Regardless, just miserable, miserable performance by the Grail Knights. Excuse me. And then we go to Dark Elves turn 2. So overall, the board looks like that. You can see he's got his general on the dragon way in my left flank. I don't love that. I just don't know what I can do about it. If he gets in combat, I can threaten him, via combat res and or my general with heroic killing blow. But other than that, apart from the trebuchet, what do I have to scare this guy? So that's not wonderful. Yeah, there's this. I want to say the reason the Corsairs are back as far as they are is because they tried to charge the Bowman and he failed it. He needed a high roll, but that was I totally agree with that decision, because if he would have made that, let's say he needed a 10 or 11, if he would have made that, he easily would have killed the Bowman and reformed and been right in my business, and that would have been awful. In hindsight, I probably should have fled just to make sure it couldn't happen. And over here, the shades that I foolishly led in my flank shot at me and killed 2 knights. Now, if I'd had them in front of me, they still would have killed 2 knights, but at least then I could have threatened to charge. They may have decided to do something else. But because I just reformed automatically without thinking about it, that happened. And then over here, the Grail Knights, now that they don't have a charge and a flank, now they decide to do some wounds, and they don't have a strength bonus. They decided to do some wounds, and they beat the fast cav. Of course, they couldn't run him down, and I should have called this game that. I should have called this is the game of I can't run anything down whatsoever. Grail Knights could not catch the fast cav. Of course, we go to Bretonnia turn 2. So, Again, my Grow Reliquary, I'm just kind of inching forward. I'm not dying for the Sisters of Slaughter to charge it. I mean, I know it's just, they're going to do so many wounds, but that thing is hopefully blocking him from doing a whole lot of stuff against my important units. I reform and shuffle over my General and BSB unit on the bottom right, and you can see on the top right I'm bringing the fast-moving unit all the way over, and on the top middle you can see I charge the Knights Errant into the flank of his Dark Shards with his spellcaster. My opponent was not expecting that. I had a high roll. I think I needed a 10 to get there, maybe even 11. And I did it because I didn't have a whole lot else to do with the unit. If I failed the charge, I wouldn't be much worse off than what I would have done anyway. So I tried it, and they made it. So that looks very, very nice. Meanwhile, the Grail Knights charge the fast cav. They flee. They can't get away. I catch them and reform. So not being able to catch them after the break didn't actually hurt me there. Then I decided to take a charge. And this actually took me a few minutes to decide upon. But my Peg Knights are floating around there in the back. I'm like, what am I going to do with these guys? And I'm like, I could charge the rear of the Corsairs. The Bloodrack Shrine has kind of a nifty little attack it does before combat begins that could hurt my knights. But for the most part, these are just Corsairs. I mean, they're strength 3. I'm toughness 4. I've got a 3-up armor save. I think for the most part, my opponent's going to be stubborn or steadfast for a long time. He could turn around. Things could go ugly eventually, but I should be able to do so many wounds to it. So not only do I slow this thing down from advancing on my main line and being able to combo charge or threaten other things I don't want them to threaten, I should be able to weaken them in the process. So I'm throwing these Peg Knights in there, not thinking I'll win it eventually, but I should stick around for a long time and greatly weaken the unit. And by the time he breaks my Peg Knights, hopefully I can get away with Swift Stride. I can charge him with Night Buses, yada yada. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. This is the crazy long ball charge. Very, very nice. That'd be an easy one to win for the Brets. And after combat, it looks like this. This is one of the more frustrating turns in Warhammer that I've had. So the Peg Knights go in, and they whiff. Between human attacks, Pegasus attacks, stomps, I do a total of 1 or 2 wounds. Total. His Bloodrack Shrine kills 2 of my Peg Knights outright, and then his attacks kill another one. I break from combat, and the only good news is he's frenzied. He has to pursue because the Bloodrack Shrine is frenzied. That's the only good news. Other than that, I was very, very frustrated. I thought I would win the first round or 2 of combat, and then eventually get whittled down, but that was a gross miscalculation on my part. I haven't done the math. I don't know what should have happened there, but at the time it felt like it should have gone a lot better than that. Then my Knights Errant charge into the flank of the unit. They easily beat him, and I break him, and even though I have Swift Stride and he doesn't, he gets away. And that's very frustrating because they're going to easily rally, and then he can cast magic at me and just all of their problems. He can reform his Corsair so that if I do charge him again, he can countercharge. Just darn it. Darn it, I really need to have got those points off the board. Anyway, we go to Dark Elves turn 3. His Sisters of Slaughter, charge my main unit, the one with my General and BSB, and they fail it. Thank goodness. They needed a long roll to get there. It was on 2 dice. I think they needed a 9, and they failed it. That was so nice. He, of course, reforms his Corsairs. He rallies his Dark Shards. His General and the Dragon charged my archers, and I decided just to flee because I was easily going to bounce through my units and get away. And then he charged my Grow Reliquary, and I thought I'd do the exact same thing because I love the thought of just keeping him there stranded. So that was very nice. I don't like how he has his General to my left and his Master down below my lines, but I don't know what else to do about it. Yeah, there are these guys fleeing. If they would rally, that'd be very much appreciated. Save me some points. Meanwhile, he takes his Shades and charges the rear of this unit, which in some ways looks like it's a losing proposition. He'll have a charge and a rear, which is static combat res 3. I will have 2 or 3 ranks and a banner. So we might be at combat res 3 either way, but all he has to do is really hold my guys up. What he doesn't want me to do is be able to charge on my next turn with these guys. So I think it was a good, if not gutsy, move. And there, this is just Slaughter failing their charge. That would have really hurt if they had made it. Magic phase, he casts something. I don't know if it was the Bloodrack Shrine or his mage. Either way, he kills a couple Knights Errant. I fail my panic and run away. And it was funny because by running away, that means I can't charge his dark shards with his wizard and beat him in combat and chase him down and get those points. But it occurred to me that if I charge him, that doesn't mean I'm going to get those points. Matter of fact, he'd probably flee. It might just bounce right through that unit, and then my unit's stuck there right in front of the Corsairs and with a counter charge. So although this isn't ideal, I'm not sure it's the worst thing in the world. His shades kill 2 knights, which I thought was pretty good for them. But then, yeah, we kill some back and easily break them. I restrain so that I can do the charges I wanted to do, and they do not quite make it off the board. So we go to Bretonnia turn 3, and I get the big Bretonnian count double charge against his Sisters of Slaughter. I think this is the only way to do the Sisters of Slaughter, is to charge them like this. Matter of fact, in hindsight, I'm not quite sure why I took my 1 unit into the front of them. The unit in the flank is the one that's going to do all the work and not take nearly as much damage in return. Both my peasant units rallied, so that was nice. There's this. You can see they're kind of whittled down, which is nice. And then I'm really not worried about this combat. I'm pretty sure I'm going to break them. I'm going to beat them, and we do. The problem is, even though I have 2 units with Swift Stride, and he has only 1 unit without Swift Stride, he gets away. And by getting away, he bounces through his units and gets completely to safety. All those points are protected. I'm probably not going to have a chance to get him the rest of the game. And I'm being reminded of a recent game when I was winning everything, but I couldn't get the points. And I'm thinking, that's what this game's going to be. If I can't catch things in combat, I can't get the points. I should have those dark shards with the wizard. I should have the Sisters of Slaughter with the Cauldron of Blood. I should have all this stuff. And no, not going to happen. So we go to Dark Elves turn 4, and yeah, this is not good. He charges his Corsairs with a Bloodrack Shrine into my General and BSB's unit, and charges his General and a Black Dragon into their flank, and charges his Master into their rear. And my friends, that is not what you want in the game of Warhammer. And yet, after combat, Magic didn't do much. He didn't have anything shooting. I sacrifice a champion to his General because he has the Cloak of Twilight, so he kills my champion. Other than that, he only does 1 wound because he just has the Master and the Corsairs, and they're not really that great in combat. Thankfully, his Bloodrack Shrine wasn't able to do much this time. But nevertheless, he's winning by a bunch. I'm on a 5 rerollable, which I think is about a 45% chance of sticking, and I stuck. And that was huge. That was huge. Because now I can countercharge. So Bretonnia turn 4, it looks like that. Over here, I had reformed the Gros Reliquae to face his Shades. They, of course, both units had rallied, so I charged them on this turn, and it was a failed charge. And over here, the Knights Errant charged his Dark Shards with the Wizard. He fled, and it rolled really low. I caught them and just reformed, so that was nice. And here in the combat below, now I'm willing to get into a challenge with my General and his General, because the Cloak of Twilight, he doesn't have the Killing Blow and D3 wounds because it's not the first round of combat. So now I'm willing to take my Lord over there with a 1-up rerollable armor save. I'm going to target all my attacks at the Dragon because I don't think his General could do much harm to me. The Dragon still could. And he's taken 2 wounds, but if I get Heroic Killing Blow, that's quite a bit of static combat res if I can get the combat res for the remaining wounds. Other than that, I've got a charge and a flank. I've got 2 ranks going to the flank of them, of the Corsairs. Very, very happy about that. During combat, I get Heroic Killing Blow off on his Dragon, which was awesome. I took my BSB's unit and chased the Lord on foot and caught him. I thought, wow, amazing. I was actually able to catch somebody in combat, but my other knight unit couldn't catch the damn Corsairs. Damn it! Guys! Swift Stride really should be able to catch people on foot. And he's not only did he get away, look how far he got away. He got away by 6 inches. It was so frustrating. He literally should be tabled by now. And I can't catch things in combat. So, Dark Elf turn 5, he rallies the Corsairs, of course. His Sisters of Slaughter with the Cauldron of Blood that should be dead charges the flank of my Knights Errant. They run him down because with Swift Stride, I can't get away from people without Swift Stride. Elves are fast, though. So we go to Bretonnia turn 5. At this point, actually, before my opponent's last turn, we both know that we're not going to get 6 turns. We're going to end it after this turn. So I don't do much with my BSB's unit because it just doesn't matter. My other knight unit charges the flank of the Sisters of Slaughter with the Cauldron of Blood. And this time my Grail Reliquary does make the charge to the Shades. And after combat, not only could I beat him, this time I ran him down. Thank you. And then the Grail Reliquary beats and runs down the Shades. Thank you, guys. And it ends like that. So when the game ended, with all the bonus points and stuff, I ended up getting 23 out of 25 points. So I really couldn't complain about how the game ended. On game 1 of a tournament, I'm not sure that I even want 25 points. I'm not sure I want 23 points. It kind of puts you a little too high on the tables. It was a fun game. I certainly had some things go my way. I made some long charges. I avoided some long charges. I did have some bad luck in terms of not being able to catch things in combat or being able to get away from things from combat. But getting 23 points out of 25 possible certainly puts me up in the top few tables and is nothing to begrudge. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.